Gentleman from Texas is recognized.
I appreciate my friend from Pennsylvania, appreciate the speaker, gentleman from California. My friend from Pennsylvania and I share a love of outlaw country music, whether it's Texas-based, my preference, or generally. There's a famous picture of Johnny Cash standing up giving his middle finger, and it's on the cover of an album. And that picture, if all 435 of us stood on the steps of the Capitol with our middle finger to the American people, it would be a more honest action than what we're engaging in here on the floor of the People's House right now. Let me tell you what's happening right now. In true swamp fashion, what we're about to do is deem as passed a House bill on federal agency reporting goals with a House amendment to a previously passed Senate amendment to enable us to have a revenue measure, to enable us to give the Senate a revenue measure to satisfy the constitutional requirement that revenue bills originate in the House. And it will fast track the House amendment to a Senate amendment, fast tracks the Omni by allowing the Senate to bypass a motion to proceed vote. Now that is a bunch of complicated parliamentary procedure gobbledygook for the American people, but what it is a fraud. It's a fraud. It is actually trying to end run the rules in order to jam through what? A massive $1.7 trillion omnibus spending bill without any actual debate. That is what is happening right now on the floor of the House of Representatives. Nothing else. In that $1.7 trillion bill, and pause for a second, what are we actually packaging here? A week-long continuing resolution to keep the government open through this weekend into next week so negotiations can continue to wrap up this $1.7 trillion monstrosity. So the vote today is a vote to perpetuate and extend funding for a week to allow a $1.7 trillion omnibus spending bill in a lame duck Congress. That has not been done, by the way, in the last 70 years when we've had a flip of the House, a flip in majority control of the House. We have not done that over the last 70 years. 5 times there's been a flip. We do not pass big spending bills in a lame duck Congress, which is what this is. My Democratic colleagues know it. My Democratic colleagues in the Senate know it. And the Senate Republicans who seem to be trying to grease the skids of this, they know it as well. And here we sit. And so to the American people, you need to understand what the People's House is doing to you today. Standing on the steps of the Capitol, sticking their middle finger up at you would be more honest. Because this is defense spending, $858 billion, a 10% increase. Now, we can debate the need for defense spending increase. Many of us would probably agree we need to have more defense spending. But we also need to fix the Department of Defense. We need to stop having it turn into a woke agency that is essentially social engineering wrapped in a uniform. So let's fix the Department of Defense. But no, we're not debating that. We're just going to give another blank check of 10% additional spending. But it's worse than that. We're now going to have non-defense spending reports. We haven't seen the text because, oh no, the little people here in the House can't see the text before we actually vote on this crap. No. They're going to jam it through without us seeing the text. Non-defense spending reports indicate somewhere between an 8 to 11% increase. Now, to put that in context, we're talking about something in the order of $50 to $60 billion. Now, here's the thing. We just spent something like $2 trillion in non-defense discretionary plus-up during COVID. And we're now going to jump into this and we're going to say, oh yeah, I got a good idea. Let's jump up non-defense discretionary spending. That is all of the alphabet soup of all of the agencies that are attacking the American people every single day, empowering the FBI to designate parents as domestic terrorists, empowering the DHS to not actually secure the homeland while Americans are dying from fentanyl poisonings and immigrants are burning up, 53 of them in a tractor trailer in San Antonio. That's what we're dealing with. And this CR is the gateway drug to an omnibus spending bill next week. That is why we should oppose it. We should oppose the CR. We should oppose this rule. We should oppose the omnibus. And the American people deserve a House of Representatives that is actually doing the work of appropriating rather than jamming through an omnibus bill right up before Christmas in a lame duck after the American